Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Sox on Tap.
Tony, my first reaction is just fuck yes, let's go.
Sox versus the Twins. That's where it all starts. Because it all starts taking care of business in-house in the Central Division.
That's right, I'm a meatball.
You got to bring that top button swag, baby.
It is always great to beat the Cubs.
And I'm a homer, so I always say they're gonna.
Dallas Keuchel Lamson got some beards that you should be afraid of.
What everybody said when he gets out there, it's me versus the other guy, and I'm going to beat him. So I just love that mentality. It's cool and fucking tough.
Steve, would you say that Tony is mad online?
I would definitely say that.
The White Sox winner.
White Sox fans, welcome into Sunday Funday with Sox on Tap. It's Jonnie, NWI Steve, and Tony on Tap here. Joining me, boys, successful weekend in Cleveland is the title of this episode. I'd say it was. You come out of their division title, series win, feeling good right now.
Hey, yo, boys. Yeah, feeling real good here after taking 3 out of 5 this weekend, getting that division title, just like you said, Johnny. But I got to ask the question to both of you. How your livers feeling?
Feeling fantastic. My liver is feeling fantastic. Steve, I know yours is feeling fantastic as well. I'm glad you made it back from Ohio safe.
Let me tell you, Ohio, it was quite an experience. That was my first time there since 2009 when I saw the White Sox legend Gordon Beckham hit his first major league home run down in the Nasty Natty. But I'm going to be honest with you, I'm good if I don't have to ever go to that state again. So keep it.
Yep. Hey, last time this year, guys, we were done with the Cleveland Indians. Last time playing them as the Cleveland Indians, too. So farewell. Steve, I think you put it well when you tweeted the picture of the final score from game 1 on Thursday. Tell us what you said there.
Yeah, just a nice little 1-0 final there. It was a great way to have my last memory of the Cleveland Indians. And, Indians, fuck you always and forever. Yeah, absolutely. I think you said, it was a great end to the Cleveland Indians. Fuck you always and forever. That was excellent. I enjoy that. We always appreciate your hate for the AL Central rivals here. So a lot of stuff to get into today, guys. We're going to be talking about these last 3 games because we did record. If you go back our last episode, it is the Celebration Champs from Thursday night. And then we talked about both those games a little bit in that doubleheader. We're going to talk Friday, Saturday, Sunday's games here, some observations from those. We've got a petition up on ontapsportsnet.com for Jim Cornelison to sing the national anthem at the first home playoff game. Who should be the starter? Game 1 at Houston when it comes playoff time. We'll talk Adam Engel, availability during the Red Series, and the boys will be back in town. Obviously, a homestand coming up. White Sox been on the road for a while, 3-city road trip, so they'll be back after a brief drop back to Detroit on Monday to finish out that series, the one that got rained out in that finale. So, boys, let's kick it off with this weekend. Observations from overall Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Obviously, the White Sox go 2-1 in those games. Friday night, a 1-0 victory. Luis Robert getting the job done there, providing the only run. And then Saturday felt like more of the hangover game. And then Sunday today got going early. His RBI single in the first. They would pile on a few more runs. Had a nifty little steal of home there. We'll talk about that in a bit. But a 5-2 victory for our White Sox today. Observations from the rest of the weekend here.
Hey, Johnny, before I get into the observations, just want to let everybody know a little bit different experience on our end. We cannot see your comments on Twitter. So if you are looking to comment on the show, head on over to our YouTube channel. We can get your comments from there. I believe that's on Tap Sportsnet on YouTube. There was an update to Twitter, Periscope, and we do not have comment accessibility from here. But Johnny, overall observations from the weekend, a little bit lackluster at times. Other times like today, things looked pretty damn good. I think that there's enough to pick apart throughout this weekend where there was some really bad that we could talk about and focus on. And then there was some really good bright spots, especially along Lucas Giolito's start today. Some bullpen appearances that looked great. And then, just a little bit of, long ball action that we saw throughout the weekend. And then the disappearing act of the long ball action on the other side. Steve, I'll toss it to you.
Yeah, Tony, you hit the nail on the head with a lot of those aspects. Really just a mixed bag of play. You look at the 2 games that really stood out to me. Obviously, game 1 on Thursday, the clincher, the 7-2 victory, and then the game today. These are the 2 types of games that you look at and you see, and this is what gives you optimism. heading into this series up against the Houston Astros. Then you look on the flip side of it. You look at the game yesterday. Lance Lynn, didn't have his top level stuff there, and the offense seemingly just kind of went through the motions. So really this Jekyll and Hyde act that we have seen from this team for almost the entirety of the second half reared its ugly head again. And as we head into the final week of the regular season, it's leaving many of us wondering which team ultimately is going to show up when the bell rings on October 7th.
Yep, Jekyll and Hyde, good term to use there, Steve, obviously in the differing results here. Let's talk Friday first, guys. We left off with the discussion on Thursday night about Luis Robert, built in a fucking lab. This guy hits another nuke out to left center on Friday night to provide the only run of the game. Other than that, storylines from here, Dylan Cease goes 5 and a third, I believe. 3 hits, 0 earned runs, 0 walks, and 9 strikeouts. He did exit with a right triceps bruise after a comebacker hit him off there when he's kind of turning around on the mound. Deflected off. I think it was kind of a precautionary move. I think you should be fine there. Bullpen, A squad, they came to pitch that night. Excellent outing from Kimbrel there. Strikes out the side, and you kind of eliminated a hangover game there. I know that would kind of come Saturday, but a day after the celebration, Tony said they were partying to the early hours of the morning. I think that would be a factor in that. So anything else Friday?
I think it was just impressive that they were able to win this game. 1-0 ball games and a Dylan Cease start. Who would have thought that the White Sox are coming out on top there? We talked a lot about Dylan Cease being able to get through games and stay out of the inning. I think he did that fantastically. Just the fact that you're able to win a ball game where you had Dylan Cease on the mound, there was no hiccups, there was no damage done to him. I think that's what's most important out of this start. Sure, you would have liked to have seen the offense do a little bit more damage than 1 run. But again, Luis Robert, the guy, like you said, that we just talked about him being built in the lab. We also, I think, came to a general consensus that Luis Robert's the best player on this team as it stands as well. So right there, just proving the point even further. I think, games where the White Sox don't give up any runs, your pitching and defense is working well, and that bodes well. That's one of those things that gets you excited about this team, that they can win a ball game like that. So that's my Friday observations right there.
Yeah, being in the ballpark on Friday, that was certainly in a different ball game from what we saw in the rest of the series here. And I think obviously there's going to come times during the month of October where they're going to have to find a way to win low-scoring games, and they're going to have to rely on quality starting pitching that we saw from Dylan Cease, him going out there, attacking the strike zone early and often, commanding the fastball on both sides of the plate there. And then ultimately you just got to scratch and claw. You got to get that 1 or 2 runs. And like you said, Johnny, bullpen A squad went out there, did the job. That was probably the best outing Craig Kimbrel has had since he put on a White Sox uniform. And that's kind of how you want to draw this thing up ultimately when you get to October. So give me some more of that.
Absolutely, Steve. You guys made all the points there, so I think that's about it from Friday. I think Dylan Cease will be fine. And, the thing that I was talking about, last thing to wrap Friday up is that I'd said, big inning, want to avoid that. Tony, you touched on that. But I, kind of had some harsh words kind of towards him, like, oh, you're fucking useless to me, even if you strike out 9, but still have the big inning when it comes to playoff time. So good on him for, making me eat those words. I always love eating words when I'm wrong about it, and it's something positive for the White Sox. Let's move on to Saturday. Not too much. I don't want to spend too much time on here, but Lance Lynn, 6 innings, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, 0 walks, 6 strikeouts, 2 home runs allowed, one of those being to Jose Ramirez in the first. Kind of fell over before it started in this one. I think it's a lack of execution for the White Sox on a couple of occasions, and it was mop-up time in the bullpen. At least Ryan Burt struck out 3 guys. This was the true hangover game is my final note there. And other than that, I am so glad we don't have to see Jose Ramirez until next year, guys.
Kind of how I feel about this whole thing, too. Game notes that I had from this, Steve, I think I texted this to you. Lance Lynn gets himself in a little bit of trouble again by going after a guy that he probably should have just walked in this situation. Now, this wasn't as crucial to the ball game, or you could argue that it was, but him going after Jose Ramirez early on in this ball game gives up another long ball. Same situation kind of against the Toronto Blue Jays. I think it was amplified a little bit more with an open base. I forget the exact situation, but it was like second and third with Vlad Jr. up and had already thrown a couple of balls in that at bat, and then tries to rear back back and go get him. But I think Lance Lynn, we talked about it when it happened then, and I'll talk about it again right here. When he gets in these situations where he's up against the best of the best, he wants to be the best, and he's going to go after him. Doesn't matter what the call is coming in from the dugout or the catcher. I think Lance Lynn is one of those guys that commands that respect, and Tony La Russa is probably not even going to say, hey, I'm going to take you out of this situation, because Lance Lynn feels that he can battle in those. That's the second time he's gotten torched, and I think that this is something to watch in the playoffs, especially with Lance Lynn. And I got to say, hands down, he is my favorite pitcher on the staff, but I hope that when he's out there in the ALDS, he does not get himself into one of these situations where he's down an account and tries to come battling back and be the hero here. It could end up biting him in the ass. It's the one big worry I have with Lance Lynn, the biggest takeaway that I took from that ball game.
I don't have a whole lot to add from the game on Saturday. I didn't see a single pitch. I was busy battering my liver more so than Jose Ramirez did with that Lance Lynn fastball in the first inning there. So I think you guys hit on all the key points right there as I checked through the box score and just saw some of the highlights. And obviously, Tony, you were texting me during the course of it here, kind of bringing me up to speed on some of the things here. So just kind of one of those games you got to chalk up. And Tony, to your point about Lance Lynn being that guy that wants to kind of show everyone he's got that attitude, he's got that ace mindset of I'm going to beat the guy no matter who it is. There's going to, I think, have to come a point where TLR is going to have to rein him in a little bit at some point here, potentially in that matchup against the Houston Astros and the ALDS.
All right, good stuff there, guys. We will touch on Lance Lynn more as we discuss Game 1 playoff starter later in the show, but let's get back to a winning effort before we do that. Sunday, 5-2 White Sox winner. Gio throws a gem, 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 0 earned runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. You got the Yaz RBI single in the first. Eloy, the nice pair of RBIs in the third. Lurie Legend, RBI single in the sixth. And then a cool play, guys. Billy Hamilton steals home. Gets credit for the steal of home, second in his career. And Tim Anderson did a nice job playing some decoy in a rundown between first and second base. Thought that was kind of the coolest moment of this game outside of Lurie Legend's RBI single, of course. But other than that, Kopech had a little bit of a rough go of it when he got out there, only third of an inning pitched, and Garrett Crochet to come in, mop up the job. And he did that because that flips Jose Ramirez around to the right side of the plate, grounds into a double play, had to be reviewed. So Tony challenged it. White Sox won that challenge. They get out of that inning. Always nice to get Jose Ramirez out there. We'll talk Kopech starter reliever numbers in a little bit here. Other than that, Kimbrel did allow a solo home run in the 8th in his inning, so that is of note there. And Liam locks it down. No damage for him, so he was looking good. Takeaways from Sunday in the finale.
I think this game was just the pleasure of a game to watch, especially for a team that's already clinched the playoffs. You come out there and you get Lucas Giolito just absolutely working. I mean, the guy, I know we're going to talk about this in a little bit, but he wants that ball game won. He wants to prove on his way out here at the end of the season that he is still the ace of the staff. Gets does a mighty fine job today of just going the distance a little bit as comparative to what I've seen from this White Sox starting staff lately, guys. And this is something that I harped on the other day too. Guys being able to get into the 6th, 7th inning just seems like it hasn't been happening enough for this ball club lately to kind of save the bullpen. You turn it over to your bullpen A squad. Obviously there's a little bit of discussion amongst how that all got done, but for the grand scheme of things, the offense was working. You were able to manufacture some runs today, and albeit some cool ways. Jonnie, I love that you bring up the steal by Tim Anderson and Hamilton gets home on that. I think that's just an interesting play that you see at some lower levels of baseball work out more than it does in the major leagues, for sure. I can tell you how many times we've back in Little League and into high school, you call for that steal with a runner on third base and you try and get yourself in a rundown to get the other team throwing the ball all over the fucking place. I think it's very fitting that we walk out of Cleveland after doing that, making them feel like Little Leaguers and not being able to getting even and out on that play. So I found that pretty fucking cool and tough. Just Love a good it. Ball game all around. That was probably one of my favorite things I've seen from the White Sox all year was pulling that off. And it was perfect with Hamilton and Anderson. Steve, I'll turn it to you. And it was just a good ball game.
Biggest takeaway for me was watching Lucas Giolito go out there and really establishing his slider, both as a pitch to get ahead of hitters, and then ultimately having kind of a second slider there to put guys away when he's ahead in counts 0-2, 1-2. For, maybe the first half of the season here, he was kind of still relying on that 2-pitch, high four-seam fastball changeup mix. But in the second half here, we've really seen him incorporate that slider with a lot more consistency. And now that's become a viable weapon for him. And they showed the graphic on the screen during the course of the game here that hitters just are not squaring up that pitch. And they're just simply not doing any kind of damage with him. So now from an offensive hitter mindset standpoint, when you get in that batter's box right there, you've now got to have that third pitch in the back of your mind, and you have a starting pitcher that can go out there and utilize 3 quality plus pitches. All of a sudden, that makes the task of squaring him up and having an idea of how he's going to attack you that much more challenging. And I think that's going to make him that much more dangerous here as we get into the month of October.
Great observation on Giolito there. Absolutely. We have talked about him bringing a third pitch into the mix and using it effectively. Very nice to see, Steve. I agree with you 100% there. Other than that, Tony, I think you summed up the steal of home, making Cleveland feel like little leaguers. I thought that was a great addition there. Other than that, Kimbrel gives up a home run, so that is a little worrisome for me. I know it wasn't a complete sort of get himself into a complete mess kind of outing, and the White Sox are up. I get it in the context of this game. Okay, but you don't want to see that stuff in October. So we've been saying it all the time ever since basically he came over. When's he going to clean it up? When's he going to clean it up? We're going to have to see one more week to go. That's it. That's all you got. 1 week from today will be the final game of the regular season. So, short amount of time to get that stuff cleaned up here. Let's talk Kopech, starter versus reliever. Thank you. Hat tip to at White Sox Takes on Twitter. I made a little meme about, the SpongeBob looking weak, Kopech as a reliever, and then the strong one, Kopech as a starter. White Sox Takes replied with these figures. Starter numbers: 1.93 ERA in 14 innings pitched, 0.714 WHIP as a reliever, 4.04 ERA, 49 innings pitched, and a 1.224 WHIP. Steve, go ahead and lead us off here because you were the man who talked about and wrote about Michael Kopech, and I'm not stretching him out earlier.
Well, one interesting little tidbit that I don't know if you guys caught this during the broadcast when Kopech came in there. Benetti asked Stone a question. He asked him if he thought Michael Kopech would work for the White Sox as an opener. And I thought that was a very interesting question to pose during the broadcast because given, obviously, the health situation with Carlos Rodon right now, it kind of makes you wonder, is this something that is being talked about internally within the organization in a Game 4 situation here about maybe having Kopech be that guy to serve as an opener and then maybe handing it off to whether it's Garrett Crochet or Ronaldo Lopez or one of the other bullpen arms out there. So I think this is something that they might be tinkering around with it, especially after Rick Hahn's comments that came out and said that they are going to try to work to stretch him out here for the remainder of the season and hopefully get him up to being able to throw 3 innings at a time. So now this is kind of in the back of my mind a little bit is this part of the game plan here that they have
Game
for
4 game
the
plan.
Yeah. So I think this is definitely something to kind of monitor here as we've got about 10 days to go here or so until the start of the ALDS and how they're going to deploy Kopech in that series.
Tony, any thoughts?
No, I think Steve summed it up real well there. I don't have, a problem if he needs to serve as an opener. I like the fact that he'd still be available for an inning or so out of the bullpen a day or two later. I think that if he does serve as an opener, though, you got to be going to Reynaldo Lopez for a couple innings after it. I feel like you're starting to get a little too weak if you're going to Garrett Crochet there and hoping for 2 just to get you to the 5th, depending on who's pitched late in those ball games, because now you start seeing some different names show up that I'm not going to be comfortable with in a Game 4 if we're there at that point. So it scares me just a little bit with the health stuff going on with this rotation. And I think that just leads me back to the point that, you're going to need guys like Lucas Giolito to go 6-7 in these starts, because if Lance Lynn's only going to be able to give you 5 and Dylan Cease is only going to be able to give you 5, you're going to be in a lot of trouble if Giolito only gives you 5.
Right. as for Kopech, Raylo, possible sort of, piggybacking with a starter scenario there. One concern that it raises for me is that Reynaldo Lopez, he was only in the bullpen a very short time before being moved into that spot starter role, and then having a kind of role with guys being injured down the stretch here. So sure, we can talk about how Kopech's numbers are better, and that will definitely benefit him if it happens, or it could benefit him. Would obviously have to go out, play the game, see how it all unfolds. But how does that affect Reynaldo Lopez? Is he as effective coming in after those 3 from Kopech, if that's what you get from him? I would hope that he is, because he has looked very good ever since coming back. LASIK did wonders for him. We know that. But it just is a question that comes to mind, because you could have a excellent 3 scoreless innings from Kopech, a lot of strikeouts, and then Raylo could come in, and if he gets touched up, people are still going to be upset about it. So you got to think about how that affects Reynaldo Lopez too. I guess we won't know until it plays out. We'll see how they handle that thing down the stretch here, and who's all able to go. So sorry, let's move on then, guys. As we're on topic of pitching here, let's air it out. I'll start the question. Who should be the game 1 starter in Houston, and why?
This one's tough for me to go like right away, because I think that Lance Lynn's been my answer all year. Has been since he signed. Been my answer for a game 1 starter in the playoffs. I mean, you got to expect that Lance Lynn is probably the most well prepared to go in this situation, but I don't know. You start to look at some of the recent history. The fact that I said, I'm not really seeing him go over 5 innings all too much lately. You've had the nagging knee injury. He says he, felt something tweak in his back in his last start. A situation we brought up earlier with attacking hitters a little bit too much in the wrong situations. You start to look at the recency bias here, and it points to Lucas Giolito. It really does. And I think that between the two of them, if you asked me in around May, I would say that that's your 2-3, because it's Carlos Rodon for sure. And now the health issues have mounted up for Carlos. I think Jonnie might have been the first person to call that, probably before spring training even started, was that he's not going to be healthy the whole way through. So right now, if I'm Tony La Russa, I mean, it's probably a coin flip between Lucas Giolito and Lance Lynn, honestly, and we'll have to see how they line up. But not much left to go here to base things off of. I think if you're going off of Lucas Giolito's start today, I think he might get one more start here. He follows it up with another impressive outing, and you still get more of the same from Lance. I'm going Lucas Giolito game 1, Steve.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with your sentiment there, Tony. I think up until maybe about 2 weeks ago or so, I was very much in the Lance Lynn start game 1 camp myself. But we have seen, obviously, some of the health issues with Lance here during the month of September. And, from a performance level standpoint, aside from that start down in Texas, he's not giving this team the length that you typically were accustomed to seeing from him for the majority of the season. Whereas, Lucas, I think, is really kind of starting to turn it on a little bit here in the second half. And, if you look at their numbers since the All-Star break, they're really very similar overall. Lance Lynn has pitched to a 3.82 ERA and a 3.57 FIP with 9.8 Ks per 9, not including today's outing. Giolito 2.97 ERA, 3.75 FIP, and 9.4 Ks per 9. So pretty similar in that regards here. But I just think that Giolito right now seems like he's hitting his stride more than Lance Lynn is. We've seen a couple of rough outings from Lance here. Obviously, the start today, and then that start against the Cubs a couple weeks back. And the other thing, too, to be mindful of here is obviously Lance spent, a couple of years down in Texas with the Rangers. So the Astros know him very well, whereas they don't necessarily have as much of a book on Lucas Giolito. So I think that lineup, just in the familiarity that they have with Lance Lynn, could be a little bit problematic from that standpoint. And so there's a part of me now that really thinks that using Lucas in game 1 there to hopefully try to steal that game and set the tone for the series is probably the way to go.
Guys, it's a tough one, extremely tough one for me. You guys brought up good points there in favor of Lucas Giolito. And I agree. I was, the most reliable source here. I was shooting the shit with some buddies at the bar last night, and I said, I think, we were talking about the importance. We need to split in Houston. We just need to split there, get back home 1-1 even series. And I said that I think Lucas Giolito is just going to fucking shove whenever he pitches in his first start there. We saw it last year. I know it's very small, limited sample size, but you saw that crazy look in his eyes and he just wants more. Tony, you brought that up the other night. He's hungry. He wants more. So I would go in favor, yes, of Lucas Giolito. But at the same time, if you go on, look at the schedule that they've set up here, I know they're going to have a couple days to reset themselves in between the last game of the regular season and the start of the playoffs. They are off, that would be from Monday through Wednesday, right? And then Thursday would be the start of that game there. So it wouldn't matter, no matter what the order is right now. And obviously it was Lynn yesterday, Giolito today. But I think that was kind of the setup. They were thinking Lance is our guy, game one. I think that is why they set it up that way. And obviously when that rotation turns through here, that's how it would be set up, with the pitching and then the rest that they would get in between their final regular season start and the start of the playoffs. So I will say, I think it should be Giolito, but I think it will be Lance Lynn. And I think they're going to go to that playoff pedigree, rely on that. The big fella, it's what you signed him for. Been in that situation before. You started in playoff games. He's won a fucking World Series before, guys. So I do think it is going to be Lance Lynn, but in the what have you done for me lately department, Lucas Giolito, I think, has earned it more than Lance Lynn has. So those are my final thoughts on it.
Fair enough, Johnny. I think you're probably right on par with what the front office and the coaching staff is thinking there. But we all know that it's going to be Dallas Keuchel.
Totally. Big money.
That's why he's here.
I'm not even going to dignify that with a response.
All right, let's move on, guys. A little lighter topic here. Our guy Patrick Comiskey wrote an article over at OnTapSports.net on Saturday morning, and it was titled "An Official Petition for Jim Cornelison to Sing the National Anthem at the First White Sox Home Game." This would be fucking electric. Jimmy C himself, the anthem singer on Twitter, liked that tweet. He liked all the people tagging him in it, asking for it. So seems like Jimmy's in favor of it. Maybe Brooks Boyer, we already know that there's going to be a blackout. He had told that to NBC5 Chicago. They've shown that they will, play into some sort of not demands, but asks from the fans. This would be awesome. I don't know if it'll ever come to fruition. I probably doubt it, but how fucking cool would that be if the place is rocking, Southside all blacked out, going nuts during the anthem like in a Hawks game. But obviously even more there. You see capacity is only 21, a little over 21K, guaranteed rate field, much, much more. Obviously baseball stadium, just bigger. So I think it would be unbelievable. And I love the line that Comiskey put in there. I have to rehash it. And that is the Astros shouldn't be able to hear a trash can banging if it was in the opposite batter's box. I fucking love that. Your guys' thoughts on this?
Inject it into my veins. I need this. I think we are all getting amped up for the atmosphere that we are going to encounter 2 weeks from today when this series finally comes back to 35th and Shields and we get the first postseason game since 2008. And I can't think of a better way to welcome postseason baseball back to the South Side than with Jimmy C going out there rocking the anthem. I think that, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think he's ever sung the national anthem at a Sox game before. And I feel like they're the only Chicago team that he has never done that for. So there is no better time to do this than 2 weeks from today.
So I love the sentiment here. I love it. Johnny, I'm a huge Jimmy C fan, just with the Hawks and cheering the anthem and everything. But I'm going to take a different approach to this. I say you wait till the first World Series game in Chicago to let him do that. Bring the giant flag out on the field, get the flyover, all of that stuff. If you're going to do this, I think that a division series isn't a big enough stage for Jimmy C. I'm going to say save it for the World Series. That's just my take.
All right, fair enough. I get that, but it's just not guaranteed. You're going to have at least one playoff game.
True, that's why I don't want to cheapen it. That's why exactly why I don't want to cheapen it.
I totally understand. But in this petition, Comiskey did ask for the first one, so glad we got your thoughts on it. I think it would be electric. I'd be in favor of doing it for the first one. I'm anxious and I want it. That's why. Selfish reasons. So that's it. All right, let's move on. TLR says the hope is for Adam Engel to play during the upcoming Red Series. He's hitting in the cage currently. Running will be the next hurdle. Ryan Tepera also had said previously, I think prior to the Indian series or on that Thursday that they clinch, that he is targeting a return during this Red Series too here. So health, big factor here. Adam Engel, we need to see this guy be healthy. I love the guy. Don't get me wrong. He has proved everyone wrong. He fixed his swing back in 2019. We all know what he can do. He's got 7 home runs and is very, very limited. It might be 8 now. Actually, I think he did hit 1 ever since come back. So it's paramount. His health is, and I hate to rag on him, but I'm calling him man in porcelain instead of man of steel right now, guys.
Oof, Jonnie with the digs here on Adam Engel. Do we need to see Adam Engel healthy? I'm just going to go back on the Adam Engel hate train that I was on back in 2019. Do we need to see him healthy? Is he the key to success for this White Sox postseason? I don't know. I think things have gone fairly well. But if he's not going to be there, just means more at bats for my guy Gavin Sheets. So I'm going to take that and ride it to the bank.
My perspective on this is a healthy, fully functional Adam Engel really gives this team a lot more versatility, and it does give Tony La Russa a lot more options on how to mix and match based upon who the Houston Astros are going to be running out there against them on a game-to-game basis. I just think that if he's there and if he is fully capable of going out there, this team has a lot of lineup versatility and a lot of different things and different pieces that they can plug into various spots to make things a little more challenging for Houston. In fact, you may even see something written on a website known as ontapsportsnet.com in the coming days relating to that.
All right, awesome. Yeah, you wrote another one too. And Adam Engel's health not only affects the right field position, I think it affects second base, Steve, too. I really like your point about, Cesar Hernandez's struggles ever since coming over to the White Sox, and Luis Garcia possibly being the guy to slot in there. Well, guess what? If Adam Engel is not healthy, you may need Luis Garcia in an outfield role in that right field spot. Sorry, Tony. I don't know if it'll be Gavin Sheets to start there.
It won't be. And you know what? I'll give it this too. Outside of that frozen rope he had today that split the shift, I think that, Gavin Sheets' offense is a little bit one-dimensional, to be honest, here in the early going. I think he does provide a lot of pop, but, from a defensive standpoint and just an overall baseball standpoint, I'd rather see some other guys getting the call here than Gavin Sheets, honestly, in especially the division series against the Astros. I'm not going to say that he's not going to come through in a critical situation, but I think that there's just a way better way to slot this thing together than having Gavin Sheets being your starting right fielder. Steve kind of took what I was going to say if I was going to give an intelligent baseball answer above, more at-bats for Gavin Sheets. So I really liked Steve's answer to this and how it affects the whole defensive scenario here. But outside of that, Adam Engel has shown up in the playoffs so far in his early career too. And I want to add that his bat was one of the most alive that we saw in Oakland in the postseason last year. So I actually really do believe that Adam Engel's bat is going to be very much needed in a playoff series. And I think that if we can maybe see some semblance of life out of Adam Engel, the man of porcelain, as Jonnie just labeled him, I think that it gives me a lot more confidence heading into a division series against anybody.
Right.
I think he's an important piece, and even as if he's not starting, if Gavin Sheets does get a start, you've got Adam Engel on the bench that you can then throw out into the outfield in the 7th, 8th inning if the Sox do have a lead. I think that was one thing that I've looked at as from Adam Engel since he started here as being a defensive replacement in an outfield platoon, so to speak, in the playoffs. And I think that his bat still plays well enough off the bench too that, it's a plus situation there.
Right. And there's one other factor that comes into, personnel availability, all hands on deck status here. And that is Brian Goodwin went to the IL before today's game due to lower back spasms, retroactive to Friday. But Matt Foster recalled that was a corresponding move. But overall, that's another outfield option there, a lefty bat in Brian Goodwin. And he is not healthy right now. He will not get a final tune-up against the Reds or against the Tigers in the final weekend of the regular season here. So that's another factor. I think Adam Engel is paramount. Obviously, he's been held out in not an IL stint again. I feel like the 5th time would have been if he were to have gone back. But I just think it makes this week so important. So it's talking about what we need to watch for when the White Sox finally come back home. Definitely Adam Engel will be up there. And then obviously performance of starting pitchers. You would think Lance and Gio are going to get one more start here with the way it's going to shake out. So both those guys pitching to maybe compete against each other for who's going to be game one starter. So a lot to watch for this upcoming homestand. Let's talk in generalities though, boys. Boys will be back in town. Feels like it's been fucking forever. 3-city road trip. You had Texas, you had Detroit, you had Cleveland. Now you got to go back to Detroit for one more game before. But guys, how great is it going to be to finally be back on the south side of Chicago at 35th and Shields?
Hey, I love the boys are back in town, Johnny, and I can't wait till that's blasted on Tuesday when I, finally pull back into Lot B for what's going to be the final homestand of what was a great season for the White Sox. And I think, overall we had some good times at the ballpark this year, boys. And I'm hoping to make some more memories that, last a lifetime in this final week with both of yous at the ballpark this week.
It's been crazy. The last, 12, 13 years, you look at the final homestand of the year almost as like the procession leading into a funeral. And this year, this final homestand, it's kind of a tune-up, obviously, for something greater that we're going to get to see 2 weeks from today. And I keep coming back to this. And the fact that we know that these are not the final 5 games that we're going to get to see this team at the corner of 35th and Shields here in 2021. So it is going to be really nice just to have them finally get back after this long road trip. And I know myself from traveling to 2 of the cities on this road trip, I'm sure those guys are even more wiped out than I am from the traveling aspect of it here, and be able to get back and sleep in their own beds. And like you both said, it's going to be great just to reassemble the whole group here. I know we've got a couple of things planned for the homestand here. We're going to have some fun. We're going to crack some fucking beers, and we're going to get after this shit.
Absolutely. Few points for me. I cannot wait to hear the reception that the team gets after clinching the division title for the first time since 2008. So, Tony, you're going to have to take a video of that, capture it all in, because I will not be there Tuesday night. But B, I've not been to a game, a White Sox home game in the month of September. Last game I went to, boys, was when we were living the sweet life back on the final day of August. I had some, I had tickets for some of the games in the middle of the month when they were back at home during that homestand. That had the Angels and the Red Sox in there, but I had other commitments. I was out of town for both of those things when I would have otherwise, if I was home, would have been going to the game. So personally, I can't wait to get back. And then halfway to St. Patrick's Day, one of the best, promos that they do of the year. They're giving away a sweet Budweiser beer stein. That is Friday, October 1st. And yes, we are doing it up big, Lot B. Mark your calendars, Friday, October 1st, 5:15 p.m., Lot B. Halfway to St. Patrick's Day tailgate. Wear your fucking green White Sox gear. Bring any ridiculous decorations, that you have, whatever you want to do to celebrate halfway to St. Patrick's Day. I think I'm going to get some solo cups and bring a little bottle of green dye so we can have green beer in Lot B. I think that's the move for that. It'll be a great time. Unfortunately, no piñata this time, like the Astros tailgate when we destroyed Orbit, sent Orbit into orbit, if you will. But, it's going to be a good time regardless. And it'll kind of be the last sort of celebration and kind of take it all in, because let's be honest, it don't matter if the White Sox win or lose that game. We're all just there. We're going to have a good time. Appreciate the team, what they've accomplished this year, and gear up for the playoffs. So I can't wait, boys.
Johnny, let me ask you this question. How's the reception going to be when I'm the guy that rolls up there in a Polish Mafia t-shirt for halfway to St. Patrick's Day?
Steve, you do what you got to do. I know you would you would let us know that beforehand. We were chatting a few days ago in the Sox on Tap group chat. But you go ahead. Me and Tony might fight you. We might have a bouncer there, a big Irish red-haired bouncer to kick you out. But who knows? We'll see. It'll be a good time regardless.
And Buzz never made it to the show too, and I felt like there was going to be no fighting. And then you go and you do this, Steve. I have no idea what to even do here.
I apologize for nothing.
You don't have to. I can't beat him in a fight, so I can't even do nothing. I'm fucked.
I'll wear enough green to make up for your lack of spirit at that tailgate, Steve. How about that?
That's fair.
All right. Boys, final stuff here. Meatball takes tinfoil hat time shout outs. Any of that stuff you got it? Other than that, we're getting close to wrapping up.
I don't have any meatball takes right now because the White Sox are going to the playoffs. I'm in a great fucking mood. I think both of you guys are as well. But shout outs, shout out to Buzz, who's in his garage right now. Last we heard from him, he didn't know what his name was, so I'm going to reiterate his name's Buzz, and he sat through an entire Chicago Bears game, and I mean, you got to be some sort of glutton for self-punishment if you sat through that whole thing and couldn't make it here. So shout out, Buzz. Good job.
Meatball take for me, just kind of going back off of what I had tweeted Friday after the Sox victory in Cleveland, and to know that we will never have to see the White Sox play the Cleveland Indians ever again. They fucking buried them once and for all. They're done. They're finished. We lived our entire lives and never had to see those assholes win a World Series. Suck it.
All right. I guess as we're winding down here, one last thing, and is a topic that I meant to put in here before. So I do have a final thought after this, but this topic we need to discuss really quick, and that is Lucas Giolito, his comments about the personal catcher situation, and people, saying getting away from being a personal catcher guy was a big thing for me. Tony, who'd have thunk it? We were the assholes for insinuating that. Right?
I need to know if this was playful words or if it was, some sort of joke that he knows that people think he's a personal catcher guy. I mean, he certainly looked like a personal catcher guy. Now he's bringing it up. We heard it as early as a few days ago that Lucas Giolito is not a personal catcher guy. And then I thought it was big that he threw to Yazde. I meant to say this earlier. I thought it was big that he threw to Yazde and looked fucking phenomenal. And you saw him go to Sebi Zavala for a few times and look phenomenal. I mean, Zach Collins is still on the roster right now, is he not? I thought that, Sunday lineup, you're going to see Zach Collins say that's who I thought was going to be in the lineup today for the White Sox was Zach Collins, especially with just the series in Cleveland. Yaz playing both of those games in the doubleheader. I thought this was just an easy game for Yaz to probably be riding the bench with Lucas Giolito on the mound. Instead, Yaz is back there doing Yasmani Grandal things, and Lucas Giolito looks fantastic. And you have to think that one of the reasons why he's throwing to Yasmani Grandal right now is because that's who he's going to throw to in the playoffs. I love to see it. Jonnie, I know you love to see it. I know our guy Andrew Kinsler loves to see it. I think everybody loves to see it because it's something that you did not see from Lucas Giolito for so long, was throwing the Yasmani Grandal. And look what happened.
Right, and this bleeds in perfectly to my my one final thought that I also said I had to mention before we preview this little swing back to Detroit for one game. But that is Yasmani Grandal. Yes, he was big. Hey, guess what? It worked out for him because A, Lucas Giolito threw well, and B, Yasmani Grandal drove in the first run of the game today, get the boys going. So that's huge. And yes, I agree with everything that you just said there, Tony. So no need to rehash it. Other than that, my one final thought here was that regardless of the series length, whether it's 3 games, whether it's 5 games, Yasmani Grandal is going to hit at least 2 home runs in the playoffs. Thoughts?
I think you might be selling him a little bit short. I mean, we've talked about
at least.
Yeah. I think, it's been talked about really ad nauseum here over the last maybe 7 to 10 days or so. He's been the hottest hitter in baseball since he came back from his knee injury. And the way he's going right now, and Jonnie, I think you and I talked about this Monday when we were together here during postgame. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't with Grandal at the moment. You make a mistake to him in the strike zone, he's punishing the ball, but then if you try to nibble, he's got such elite plate discipline that he's going to take his walks. I mean, we saw that throughout the course of the weekend here. He is just an absolute offensive weapon right now. And slotting him into that number 4 spot behind Jose Abreu in front of whether it's Luis Robert or Eloy Jimenez, that just really has lengthened this lineup out now and really made them a lot more dangerous. And I'm psyched to see what he's going to do against Houston.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. I can't wait. Steve will be having your Yaz headband in a little bit. So maybe we can team up on those. Yaz money. Love it. So other than that, let's get into the final game here from the Detroit series. Obviously delayed due to that rain out last Wednesday. They will be playing it up, making it up on Monday, September 27th, 12:10 p.m. Central Time starts as day baseball for your Monday afternoon. Dallas Keuchel on the mound for the Sox, Matt Manning for the Tigers. Once again, guys, these kind of don't really matter down the stretch here, but it's Diamond Dallas, another chance to prove any sort of worth for the playoffs here.
I mean, I don't think he has to prove any worth. He's Diamond Dallas. We all know that he plays and that he's your game one guy. So yeah. I'll turn it over to Steve just so he can confirm that fact.
Well, the only thing I'm just wondering about is, maybe Kelly Nash will give him a nice little pep talk before the game tomorrow. They can post another cute little picture on Instagram or whatever the fuck it is that they do from a social media standpoint, and maybe that'll get his head out of his ass and he'll start throwing some strikes and not giving up long balls.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't say it better myself, guys. It's going to be interesting. I would imagine. So one note from this game, actually, I do have one. I forgot to put it in the rundown, but I got it off the top of my head, and that is TLR did confirm to Len Casper that Andrew Vaughn will be playing third base. So I think it's safe to assume we can expect what would have been the kind of getaway day lineup today will be on Monday, since that is technically the new getaway day. I would imagine they're just bussing back up to Detroit tonight like they did when they came from Detroit to Cleveland to go and clinch that damn division. So the lineup in effect. What are we thinking picks to click then here with that in mind?
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Andrew Vaughn. Going playing a goofy position. I think maybe that'll take a little bit of mindset away from him and some of his struggles that he's had at the plate. Maybe loosen him up a little bit in there at the box. Matt Manning, young pitcher, had some struggles this year. I think Vaughn's going to light him up.
Not a bad pick to click there, Steve, and that's a name that if we had another hour to go, I'd love to dissect with you guys his Andrew Vaughn and playoff expectations, and maybe we'll get to that this week later on as we get into postseason preview here. I think that Andrew Vaughn's one of those guys, Steve, and I think I might double down with you with Andrew Vaughn here. I want to see.
Whoa! Wait a minute. Am I hearing this correctly? Am I hearing Tony saying that he's going to double down and take Andrew Vaughn as a pick to click?
Yes, I need to spread
some love. Is there some sort of thing that I didn't know about Tony doesn't like Andrew Vaughn?
No, I'm just curious because
I've always loved Andrew Vaughn.
No, okay. Steve, the way Steve said it made me think what happened? I
think he's just appalled that I'm not going with Gavin Sheets, and he doesn't even know that. He doesn't even know that I went with Brian Goodwin over Gavin Sheets, and I didn't even know that Goodwin was injured.
Have you grounded Gavin or something?
I haven't grounded Gavin, and you know what? That line shot that he had today that split the shift was fantastic. I'm just trying to get some other picks out there so that the rest of the team knows that I do care. That's all I'm trying to do. At a certain point in time, you might have your favorite kid, but you've also got to spread the love around so that, everybody knows that you still love them. I mean, the White Sox are a family, right? So I don't think I've given Andrew Vaughn any love in a long time. And it might just be time to give Andrew Vaughn that love. Gavin knows that I love him.
Yeah. All right. I just wanted to clarify that. It makes more sense when you were going the Gavin Sheets route. I thought there might have been some sort of Tony Andrew Vaughn beef that I was unaware of. So
no beef with Andrew Vaughn.
Okay. All right.
No beef with Andrew Vaughn. I'm glad we've cleared that up.
Just making sure. I honestly don't know what to expect from this lineup. So knowing Vaughn will be the only one in there, I would like to triple down with you guys, but I did pick.
Just do it.
I picked Mr. Vaughn today, and I think there will be a guy that will be in the lineup. Probably, I would imagine not in the field, but I think he will be DHing tomorrow to get his at-bats since he has looked pretty good as of late, and that'll be Mr. Eloy Jimenez. We need distance if we're going to get the ball out of Comerica Park, and Mr. Eloy Jimenez knows how to do that. So I will go with him. If he's not in, though, because we don't know, it's a little bit unpredictable. If he's not in, I will go ahead and triple down with Andrew Vaughn, but I'll go with Eloy first, just so we have a little bit of split here. Then we'll see what buzzes when we text him and if he can remember his name and all that good stuff. So
somebody check on that guy.
Yeah, we probably should check on him.
Yeah,
so
we definitely need a health check.
We'll wrap this up here in a little bit, but leave me with a final thought, whatever it is. Could be anything related to the White Sox. Go ahead and we'll close this thing down.
White Sox 2021 division champs. last week. Let's play some good, clean, crisp baseball. Get ready for Houston.
Let's all overreact for the next week, can we? Like that's what I
It
want.
is the most important stretch of PLR's career, right, Steve?
Yes. So
it is very hard to argue that.
My thing is let's overreact, because every overreaction to each and every win over the last week, every loss should be the most painful thing you experience, because it's not going to touch what happens to you in about a week. So get ready as a fan. This is your time to start practicing how to watch meaningful baseball. If there's an error on a play, you need to be throwing something in your living room, drinking an extra beer because it happened, doing some shots after the game. Get ready, because what's coming is a very important playoff series, most likely against the Houston Astros, where you're going to just be so intense. And if you can't get your heart ready for what's about to happen over the month of October, and you take your foot off the gas here, you might be in for some problems. Emergency room visits, all the likes. Get yourself ready as a fan, overreact to every single play that happens, and watch every pitch as if it's a playoff pitch. That's my word of advice.
Proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance, Tony. We say it all the time in our OnTap Sportsnet circles. It's true. You should do the same to prepare yourself within this fandom. So I'll leave you guys with two final thoughts, and that is, Adam Engel. Now that I have designated you a new nickname that is a bit derogatory, please go ahead and prove me wrong. You can go ahead and shove it right down my throat. I love being wrong when it's positive for the White Sox, but you need to be healthy. You need to be.
I thought he was going to say he likes taking things right down the throat.
Shove those words right back at me. I've had it happen plenty of times. Carlos Rodon, a perfect example early in the season, because I was on the don't bring him back train. So I've given a little slight at Adam Engel here. So please just go ahead, prove me wrong. Show us you're healthy, and you can be a positive contributor and consistent contributor throughout the playoff run. And it is hopefully going to be a long one. So gear up, get those hammies ready. My second final thought is, need to say it again so everybody remembers: halfway to St. Patrick's Day tailgate, Friday, October 1st, 5:15 p.m. Lot B. Look for the OnTap Sportsnet black flag hanging up, and you will go and find the party. Bring all your green White Sox gear. We'll have a great time. Beer stein giveaway, looking like it's going to be fucking sweet. Those pictures of it are cool. I'm sure it'll be even cooler in person. So get out there, get yourself one of those giveaways. Come and have some beers with us in Lot B before you do that. And that's it for the show. Good Sunday Funday, guys. Successful weekend in Cleveland. Once again, time for some housekeeping. Make sure you're visiting ontapsportsnet.com for all your Chicago sports, literature, and podcasting needs. You can follow us on social media at Sox on Tap, at OnTap Sportsnet. If you're looking for White Sox merchandise, like AL Central Champion merchandise, Grandstand is the place to go. It's located right by the ballpark, 35th and Wallace. You can also shop online, grandstandsox.com, and follow them on social media at Grandstand Sox. Boys, that's it. I got nothing else except White Sox forever.
White Sox forever.
White Sox for life.